Welcome to Champagne Sunday. I'm Lauren.
Hey, I'm Bonnie.
I'm Beth.
And we're going to talk about life
After divorce.
And living
The best life.
and the life you love.
Yes, living the life you love on that other side.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome.
Okay, tonight we're asking ourselves, we're examining the importance of fun,
Yes.
the importance of having fun.
Which we did have fun. We have had a weekend where we got to have some quite unique fun, I think. Would y'all agree?
Yes.
So we have an international event that they hold here in Decatur. Lauren, you're a little more involved.
Le Dîner Blanc. So we did that last night. It was so good. It was one of my favorite ones we've had so far.
Yeah, and my voice is still sore, still raspy from screaming all of the songs. And
Yeah, the band was.
yes, the band was fabulous, and I got all of my exercise for a week and the dancing.
Should we tell them what the event is?
So yeah, it's Dîner Blanc, and it's the one that we have in Decatur is one of two in Alabama. So it's international. So I can't remember how many cities. I probably should know how many cities because I'm a table leader usually. But no, we had a big time. It's where you dress in all white and you take dinner or you buy dinner or you rent tables and chairs, or you take tables and chairs, you meet at a secret location and you set everything up, you eat dinner and you light sparklers and then you have a big party afterward and then you take everything away and it's just great. I
was talking to our friend Kathy last night and she said, "You know what this is like?" I said, "What?" She said, "A reception. It's like a huge wedding reception without a bride and groom."
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, and without cake unless you brought it. But yeah, you have a good meal, you have a fabulous band, you're there with your friends, everybody's dressed up.
Yeah. But it's outside and it's pretty and it's very
it makes some good photos.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's just a good time.
Yeah.
So we had a really good time and I don't know, I kind of set aside, I kind of chiseled out yesterday for getting ready for that because I had a crazy work week. It has been nonstop.
Yes, you work 12-hour days.
Yeah, because we're doing a camp and rehearsals. So when I got to the weekend, I was like, all right, this is what's happening today. And then I took off my church job this morning just to rest because I know I'm about to have another week. So it's really important to chisel out that time for the fun things, for whatever's going to make you have the best time. And it has to happen often, especially if you're a busy person.
It makes you feel alive.
Yeah.
And I can also see, Lauren, with your schedule, especially when you're so overwhelmed with work, like truly working these 10, 11-hour days, that you would just want a weekend to do nothing, to make it chill and just rest. But instead, I saw you dancing, so you were just completely at it for another couple hours. But it is truly for our hearts, and our souls to feel that alive.
For that event, I'm a table leader, and so I have to do. There's things at the beginning of leading up to the event. I have to do things to be in charge of it, and then when we arrive, I have to do some work, and then at the very end, I have to make sure everybody's good. But as soon as I do that work, once we get there, it's just a fun time. I looked at my friend went with me and I looked at her and I was like, now my job is done. So now it's just fun. We don't have to worry about anything. We just have fun. So, and I have to have rest moments too. I gave myself a gift today of just not claiming anything and it was great. So,
well, I think getting back to divorce too and this could be for any loss or any trauma that you go through, you tend to circle your wagons and go into survival mode. And you don't carve out any time for fun because there are certain things you have to get done and you have to, you're kind of leaning into your new life, whether you like it or not. You're maybe getting a new job, you're getting a new bank account, or you're getting new financing. And there's all this overwhelming checklist of the things you have to do to survive after divorce. And I know that it took me over a year to decide I can allow some things. Now I can breathe a little more and I can allow some fun things. And once you allow those fun things to come into your life and you carve out the time and you make the time to do them, at first it was a big effort for me. to do that. And sometimes it takes a little bit to get me going. But I always have a good time. It's like you can really just kind of breathe, let your hair down, have a great time. Bonnie was my date. She was a really good date. And, we had fun. The pressure was off because we didn't have dates.
Exactly.
And there are a lot of women that go to that event.
Yeah.
With other women.
Oh, yeah.
It's really fun. It's just a low key. It's not really low key. It's kind of a highbrow, low
But it
key
isn't.
time.
It's
because
not
you
fancy.
decorate.
Like, I want it.
Well, no, it
Or
is.
it's family. It's
as
want it to
fancy
be.
as you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like you could
You
go.
can
In
decorate.
fact, I was sitting there thinking, if I could modify my wedding dress, it would fit right in. Like we could totally be as big and fancy as we wanted, or absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, it really
Well, there are
is.
people that do over the top tablescapes. There are people who do, like, I drag all my china out. I know you do too, Lauren.
Yeah, it
I
looks
broke
pretty.
one up for
Silver.
champagne flutes last
It's
night.
okay. That's not
Listen, I went to go get. So last year I took because I like a coupe glass when it comes to champagne.
Yeah.
And I
yes,
don't
me too.
listen. I am not a fancy human. I use my china twice a year, Christmas Eve and Dîner Blanc. Typically, I do. I bring out my pretty china. I should probably use it more often because I know you.
I use mine every day.
But I had gotten, like the past 2 years for Christmas, I'd gotten new glasses because we keep breaking stemware.
Mm-hmm.
And getting ready for the event yesterday, I went to go get coupe glasses out because I like a coupe glass for champagne. And I looked in the cabinet and I only have one left out of like a set of coupe glasses that I had. And so I pulled out 2 flutes, which are the only flutes I have left. And I looked at my boyfriend and I was like, we've broken all the stemware. Everything is broken. And he was like, oh no, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to I assume that that's an indicator that we're having a very good time.
Well, it's an indicator that you need to go back to some of these antique shops and find you some more cute glasses, coupe glasses. That's my favorite place to shop is to go find some coupe
Okay, well, the
glasses.
one downtown on Bank Street has all kinds of glassware because I was thinking, oh, I need to do this. I was like, no, I don't need to spend any more money.
Does vintage glassware like that have lead in it, though?
All
Do you have to worry about
crystal
that?
has lead in it. All crystal, like real crystal cut
Yeah.
crystal.
But I don't
glass.
know that this is crystal
But you're
because
not
this is
drinking out of it
depression
every
glass.
day,
Right.
so you'll be fine.
Yeah, mine are depression glass. Like they were made around the depression
you.
era. So I don't think they're crystal. Like you can see a seam in some of them.
Well, if they're manufactured,
So I don't know that
Maybe
they're
not.
crystal.
yeah.
But they may be. I don't know.
Well, you're
but
gonna have something. It might as well be the lead in your.
might as well be lead like royalty. She went down like a queen.
If we're going to drink enough champagne to die of lead poisoning from our antique crystal
You're probably
coupe
gonna die of
glasses,
cirrhosis.
then oh my goodness.
You'll be fine.
Somebody
We've
write about
definitely
it.
had fun.
Want to get right about it. But no, like it is like it's not thinking of things. That's another like fun thing is not thinking of anything too precious. Like
Yeah.
you use your stuff, you live your life,
all
and
the time.
don't
because,
be precious
you know,
about it.
It's fine.
The only reason I don't use my china all the time because I have to hand wash it and I like it.
I hand wash it.
Oh, let me tell you a fun fact about Dîner Blanc. The very first one I went to was the first any kind of social event that I did after divorce.
Oh wow!
It's the very it was like I looked at it like my coming out party.
Mm-hmm.
I'm single again, and of course I took my mother.
but it's a good to
Yes, my cousin made me a necklace, a piece of jewelry to wear. Like I truly looked at it as like an announcement that I am great. I am good. I am fine. I am just fine. I'm better than fine. I am so good I can dance.
Hurst is now reintroduced into
the world. Exactly. Like escorted by her mother. But I looked at it as that, and so I think I've missed 2.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but I just think it's fun.
Yeah,
It's
a good time. And now, like, so last night, and we've got this little friend group, that y'all know, you're part of it. And last night, I was like, okay, who's got the next party? Like, who's throwing the next thing? Because everybody's kind of taking ownership of an event every year. So, and that's just fun to have, like, the thing you're looking forward to.
Yeah.
After, because, and we've had this conversation before, but, like, life can potentially get to be mundane and the routine of things can drag you down a little bit unless you have that thing you're looking forward to.
Well, and it can be anything. So I looked at that first Dîner en Blanc as this is what I'm going to do. Not really. It wasn't to show anyone else that I was being social again, or that I was just fine with myself, or that I was good with the divorce and all of that. It was to show me.
Yeah.
That I was great with the divorce, and that I could go, and that I could do anything, and I could do it with girlfriends. You know what I mean? It really it had this huge symbolic meaning to me, but anything. Yeah. Any event could be that for any person.
Can we say this? Because I don't know that I don't know that we've stated this specifically. It is okay not to take your significant other to events like that. It is fine to go to big events with your girlfriends who would rather go. I have my boyfriend is like I would call him a half social. Sometimes
I may have talked him into going next year.
Maybe. Sometimes he wants to do social things and sometimes not. It just depends. But if he doesn't want to go, I go, okay. And I take somebody else.
Yes.
And that it's fine and everybody's happy and good. And, so I had a great time last night with one of my girlfriends and she had never been before and that was great. Well, so
I have to correct that. One of your girlfriends and 999 of your closest friends.
Yes.
They said there was 1,000 people last night.
Yeah.
It was so fun. But I think it is important. It is important that even in the middle of your absolute crazy, even if you're exhausted and don't think you can put on a stitch of makeup or a nice thing to wear, it's still important that you you do it.
Yeah.
Because your soul needs that little bit of happy joy.
Yeah.
That you can find just spending some time with your friends or going out and do something fun.
I feel like also some people, and I will say this because I sort of did, you feel like maybe if you don't go out, you will never go out. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you get kind of stuck. I kind of got stuck there for a little bit.
And not going out?
And I'm a huge social person. I'm a huge extrovert. And all of a sudden, I didn't feel like that anymore. I felt like, maybe I just can't do that. And I did stuff when I was married by myself constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't that I couldn't go by myself. I just felt like maybe could not go and be social. Mm-hmm. And not be sad at my circumstance.
Well, now I have gone out and done social things and been in the middle of an absolute fabulous time and still had that thing in the back of my head saying, this is still this would have been better with, or I wish that things were different, or, you know what I mean? But I'm not there anymore.
No, I don't.
I am not there anymore. And it has been a long time since I've had those, but I still pushed through. I still did it. And for 90% of any of those events, even when I was a little sad, I was happy. Well, and I was 10% in my feels and 90% in the moment having fun with my friends.
In the moment. So that's what I was about to say. It's interesting that you just said that because I've gotten to a place, and we've talked about this a lot, but I've gotten to a place where I don't futurize and I don't really think about the past either. I really am I'll futurize in terms of I've got a doctor's appointment next week, or I have to make sure that, my kid has an activity for the week that he's with me that I have to go to work in the summertime. That's what I think about is more planning. But, there's no I don't know. I really, when I'm present, I feel very present, I don't.
Well, that has been a gift of post-divorce to me as well.
But what is that?
Yes, it is not something I ever thought about or even really did, but really post-divorce, it has truly been a gift to enjoy where I am right now and not take for granted that the future is going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I got so bogged down.
Maybe that's what it is.
In having to do all those things, like with my kids when they were a certain age and keep the calendar and do all that I did not carve out time for fun just for me. It was always centered around my kids' activity
I felt guilty for carving out fun for me when the kids were little or were younger anyway. But I think part of it was I was not contributing financially to the family. So I felt like anything that I did that sucked money out of the family unit I felt guilty for, because I felt like I needed to be working 24/7, to make this work. That was my contribution instead of monetary. And that was Not at all. Anyway, I look back and feel sad for that woman that I was.
Me too, because I didn't carve out it time for fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless it was, well, I did girls golf, but that was not, you know what I'm saying? That was more of a athletic endeavor, get out of the house, not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was different. But now I just want to do fun things. And, you know, I love that we decided as a little group that we were going to try to do stuff like once a quarter, because I think it gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
It gives you something to work toward and think about and
plan. Yeah.
plan.
Okay. Now I do love to plan. Love to plan. And I don't necessarily, I have had to find a good, healthy balance between futurizing and planning.
I hate planning.
Well,
I hate it.
I don't necessarily, I don't
Listen.
love to like actually execute it. I just like to think about it.
But
Yeah.
that's different, because when you're futurizing, it's more of a fantasy. And when you're planning,
Yeah.
you have specific goals. Like for next year, I said I'm cooking for Dîner and Blanc. So that's, even though that's in the future, that's a certain thing that I will do. It's not like, futurizing would be, I have a date. That's the man. And it'll be a romantic time. But I don't even know that even if I was dating somebody, that I wouldn't want to just go with girls, because I have
It's fun. It doesn't change
expectation.
no expectation, and there's no
Babysitting. You're not
undercurrent.
worried about anybody. Now, granted, once again, we've said this before, if you're with the right partner, you don't worry about them. And you just symbiotically just do your thing and everybody's happy. And I just haven't experienced that yet. So maybe, I don't know.
But I think there are things that you just need to do with your girlfriends too, just to have fun, just to hang out.
Well, if you know, a friend of mine and Bonnie's calls it like when you're with somebody, if they don't want to do a certain thing, it's the price of admission.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so
but that's
interesting.
because there's never going to be the perfect partner.
No.
But
you're not going to have
if you love somebody completely, then you accept those pieces that don't quite fit, and it's fine.
And that's okay. And that's okay. Because while I was at the party last night, my boyfriend hung string lights in the backyard and
that looked
the area and like did his own little project, like, because that's what he wanted to do, and it is fine. I mean, like, anyway, I guess ultimately what we're saying is, the fun thing doesn't have to necessarily involve a significant other.
No.
Because even when you're with a significant other, it doesn't always involve them.
Well, but it also, I think it's important to find ways to have fun and to feel truly alive without the significant other that you thought you had to have. You know what?
Yeah.
To get out of that mindset that you have to have a partner to feel all of those fabulous things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very important, because then when you meet the person that you're supposed to be with, or you meet people especially you're not supposed to be with, it is, I think they're a little more, when you're happy with yourself and you have fun with yourself and all of that, I think it's a little easier.
And when you know how you want your life to look and be, it's hard to accept anything else. Like we were talking before about how sometimes, I don't know, I used to be such a yes person, but lately, and I hate it when people expect me to give up my free time to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
For that. And it may be selfish, and maybe it is selfish, and it's okay to be a little bit selfish, but I'm not going to always give up my free time to do something for somebody else. I'm just because I need.
I think that's different than if people expect you to do things without asking you before time. Do you know what I'm saying? If they just assume that they can,
but also the having the space to go, no, actually, I can't do that.
Okay, but do you think
because like tonight,
yeah,
my mother, and she wouldn't mind me talking about this, but my mother asked me to go to a last minute birthday dinner that they planned for my nephew. And I said, I'm sorry, but no, I gave myself today. I have given myself today. So I'm going to be with myself today.
Thing to even begin to think that is selfish instead of self-care?
Maybe.
Is that a Southern thing?
Yeah.
You think, because I listen to you talk about it and knowing how full your life is with things that all of your must-be-dones, I'm listening to you talk about self-care, not selfish.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's kind of a Southern thing.
That's also a setting boundaries thing. And
Yeah.
I don't.
And you can't say yes to everything because you won't survive. I mean, you'll burn out so fast. So.
Well, but I do think that we here in the South, there are a lot of things that we have placed on ourselves. We feel that we must say yes to, and we must, it's selfish if we don't give ourselves in all of these different ways. And I know that with my daughter, there's every once in a while, her little southernness will come up and she won't want to hurt somebody's feelings. I'll be like, can you please go ask your Yankee friends what they would do in this situation? And she'll come back and she'll be like, yeah, they told me I was being ridiculous.
Okay.
Like,
I started laughing when y'all were starting talking about this, because I remember little me moved to New York City when I was 23, and I lived right off McNichol Street in the Village, and I would, being raised Southern, trying to help everybody. Well, there was a homeless man that wanted to hand out and everything, and I would give him money because he knew I just bought groceries and I had change in my pocket, so I'd give him my change. And my little sweet daddy, I would tell him about it. He said, Beth, you're going to be sitting right out there with him if you keep giving him all your money. He said, help him once a month, but don't help him every time you go to the grocery store. Well, yeah, but that's how you're raised, to try to help everybody. And I'm not saying helping people is wrong. I'm just saying, if your cup is empty, you can't pour anything else.
That's exactly
right. And that's exactly. So I think there's a difference between self-care and selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we were raised to think it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say no to something in order to just do something for you. Like,
yes,
like going to a movie, or taking yourself to breakfast, like
or taking your dog for a walk,
and that is fine. That is okay. So I don't know. My philosophy on all of that has changed a lot, I guess.
My philosophy has changed completely, because now I just want to have something fun to do at least once a month.
Well, I want to do things for me. I want to do things like I want to do my art. Like taking this art class has been so fun. It's pushed me in all sorts of ways. But I've had several people, can we do this on Thursday night? I'm like, nope, I got art class.
A lot of the fun stuff that I do lately, unless it's like a planned event like last night, I just kind of wander into it. Mm-hmm. And I like that. Like, because some days I wake up exhausted. I just want to be still. But if I wake up and I'll talk to my partner about like what he's feeling for the day and like what's he going to do, and then I'm like, hey, what do I want to spend my time doing? And then we end up sort of just like cultivating this day, and it's I don't know, I like it.
So did you do that in your marriage, or was it very different in your marriage? Did you cultivate your day in your marriage? Okay.
No,
I didn't.
We didn't talk about things like this. I mean, this morning over coffee, my boyfriend and I talked about like, essentially our goals for the day and what we needed to do and what time we had to do it and when we were going to do, XYZ. And then we watched 3 hours of Rick and Morty because that was fun. That's what we wanted to do while we drank our coffee. So, but no, we didn't really actively speak about anything.
Did you
like that?
Did you do that?
We did to an extent. So my ex, when we were together, we would, but we had kids, and a lot of it was, okay, who's doing what with the kids? What has to be done today? Are we mowing the grass? Yeah. Are we doing this? Okay, if we're mowing the grass, will you take care of lunch? We did a lot of here's our must be dones. You divide up let's take care of this. You take care of that. You take care of this. But really, by the end of the day, I was always with the kids by myself, seemed like, you know what I mean? Or this, that, or the other. So we went to an extent, but it didn't always play out all the way. But we were okay with that, especially before alcohol really kind of took control. But I also think that there's a difference in who I was as a young person and who I am now. When I was younger, time never ended. Days were endless. Like, and there will be an unlimited amount of days. And now it's like something about the divorce, and I guess especially since my ex-husband has passed, days are not unlimited. my time is, you know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden I see everything from this time, this precious standpoint that I didn't have when the kids were younger and I was in my younger marriage. And I don't know if that's an age thing or if it's an experience thing or if, because I don't know if just being that young, that's just how you live and you wander through each day, getting all the things you have to get done without as much like purpose for yourself. Because you've also had all these kids I was taking care of. So I don't know if it's an empty nest thing because I don't have as many. The kids aren't on top of me. They are self-sufficient. It's a very passive role to be a mother at this point. I don't know what all has contributed to my point of view at this point where self-care is highly important.
I don't know. The age thing probably has something to do with it because I would say since being in my 40s, I definitely have more of I used to worry. I remember when my son was little, like new, like 2, I was worried about dying all the time. I mean, I had to get my gallbladder. Like I had major stomach trouble. I thought I was dying. I assumed I was dying because I had this 2-year-old. How would what would make me special to get to stay here for his life? You know what I mean? So I mean, I had like, it was big anxiety about dying and leaving him. And then you get a little older and you're like, oh wait, yeah, that's a real thing. Like you could die anytime. So I don't know. I concentrate a lot more on the friendships that I have and just doing, experiencing as much as I can.
Well, things don't so you might.
I worry a lot less than I used to worry.
Well, no, things aren't as important. Like, all right, my oldest is getting married. And there are a lot of things, anything they bring up with the wedding, me at 30 would have been like, oh my gosh, no, we can't do this. We have to do this. But like, I'd have had so many opinions. Me in my 50s, I'm like, that's great. What can I do to help? Like I don't care. Y'all do your wedding however you want to. What I care about is you two being happy and loving each other and being able to be on this side and witness that. I do whatever you want to, but I really think that in my 30s, I would have been a nightmare. I think I've learned so much since then. It just doesn't, but I also think part of that's the divorce and going through everything I did. So much is just not important to me anymore.
Well, I feel like I've sifted down after my divorce. And I honestly felt when I first got divorced that I had wasted my youth on this man. My time, my youth, my energy, my passion, I was wasted. So now that I'm more on the healing side of this, now I want to use every bit of my time to explore the things I want to do. I'm about to roll into a passive mother kind of role. Okay. And I really honestly want to live that quote that I want to have the best time, use every particle of energy, slide into my grave sideways completely without anything left. No reserves.
Yeah.
So that's where I am.
That's a good time.
So I want to have fun and I want to do things that I enjoy. And I want to say this. Last night, there was a point, and I can't remember what song was on. We were all on the dance floor. Lauren, you were kind of ahead of me, and Bonnie was to the side. And I thought, I feel like I am 18 years old.
Yeah.
I was just, joy was just...
Radiating.
I jumped up and down on my bad knee.
I know. Fun. I would not let me jump up and down on the asphalt. But I had the best time.
Yeah.
I did too.
Legally possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I just felt like, oh my gosh, this is fabulous.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was 18. I felt like, those days you used to ride around and with the tops down and the music blaring and you just felt young and invincible. I had that moment last night and I looked around at all the people around me of all different ages and it was like everybody was having that same kind of moment and it was fabulous.
Was it when we were battling between War Dame Eagle and Roll Tide Roll?
No.
Mr. Brightside.
No.
Mr. Brightside.
It was Mr. Brightside. That was
a good one.
That was a good
band was great.
It was like bang, bang,
so
bang. Like
Despacito is an inside joke between me and my boyfriend because
Did I
he used
send
to-
you the videos of you
yes,
singing
but he used to
Despacito?
always program the Alexa in my office to play Despacito if you asked her to play anything. And so I would walk in and go, Alexa, play, whatever. And she'd go, play Despacito. So they played Despacito. I was like, oh my God, it's our song. I just
so
recorded our
fun.
song.
Well, I
Oh,
don't know.
That was fun.
Okay,
It
you
was just as fun. It was like mass amounts of people having the same joy
Yeah.
and energy at the same
Yeah.
time. You couldn't help.
Hey,
Yes,
the
okay.
power of the group experience is,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
It
when I looked over and there's a woman with a cane dancing
yeah.
I was like, okay.
Well, and
Yeah.
I love those nights where everybody's just saying yes
Yeah.
to what's going on.
Yes.
Like, yes, we're going to to this. And
yes, we're going to Lauren's
yes,
house after.
And yes,
Yes,
we're going to go to
we're
my house. And yes, like it's just like a happy follow that. I had that vibe with when I went to that reunion a couple months ago. It was just like, yes, we're doing everything we can do, possibly fit into this 24-hour
So
day.
it was a really fun night. And I hope we have many, many, many more.
You and I should plan a Dîner on Noir.
No kidding, because I was so uncomfortable in white. You know it. I was like, I just felt like I was in pajamas. Or
Black is our
Okay.
signature color.
We were on our way to Dîner Blanc, and Beth is wearing a sweet little white headband with jewels and pearls on it. She was like, it just doesn't feel like me. Like, I'm really struggling. What do you think? I was like, it's really cute. It's just not black.
I felt like the vampire inviting to brunch.
Fun that you have, please.
I cannot stand the sunshine. It was like, oh my gosh.
All right. Well, Beth, you just said something that I want to address. You said that you had felt like you had wasted your youth on your ex-husband. So I've had those feelings in the past, but I think I am healed enough now from my divorce and all that I have to say, I don't regret any of it because I feel like such a strong and independent person at this moment. I think raising my kids a good deal on my own, even inside the marriage, really sort of lent itself to showing me I could do anything ever that I might possibly needed to on my own. And I just look at all of those experiences, and with having a romantic relationship means so little in my life right now. I'm not reaching for it. I don't have to have it. It's not something I feel like I have to complete my life for the first time ever. I can look back at that and say, I did not waste my youth. I raised my kids.
Well, I will add to that. So, and I don't know if this is not the difference in our personalities. I always knew that I could do anything.
Yeah, see, and I didn't.
And so when I say I feel like I wasted my youth, I feel like I stayed in my marriage for a really long time because I physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally was not ready to leave. And I really wanted my children to have that family unit kind of stability. But, however, I also feel like I gave 110%. When I got divorced, I was 52. Is that right? I was 52. And they told me on paper that I was non-employable. Like, I just felt like horrible. Like, okay, I'm out at 52. If I had been out at 42, there's a huge difference between 42 and 52. There is. And there's a huge difference between 42 and 59. Like, I feel like my really young, energetic, get up and go kind of stuff was stalled during that 10 years. And then I had to start it back up, reanimate myself with the divorce. And on top of that, I had a series of, it wasn't just like I got divorced and then I got my alimony and child support and went on my merry way. I had a series of, big problems. My ex had a mental breakdown. He was hospitalized. He had some other problems. He got back on his feet. Then he tried to commit suicide. I mean, it was like every time the cycle came around and I was doing really well, there was an event that I was tied to, but not really, but I was tied to. And so I feel like I'd spun my wheels, and I did work from a very good base of raising my kids for that 10 years. And I love my kids, and I really do think that that contributed to how I have kind of gotten out of the act. But at the same time, I do not have the same energy. I do not have the same drive to get things done that I had when I was younger.
See, I don't feel like that because I think I felt like something was holding me back the whole time. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what I'm saying.
Well,
It's
now-
not in a bad, but I also use so much energy trying to get this to work out. I mean, okay, here's my Pollyanna. I thought, really and honestly, I fantasized that he would say, hey, I made a huge mistake. I'm going to do everything possible to mend this problem in our marriage. And that never actually happened.
Well, now, and I want to tell you that if I met myself, if I were able to go back in time and meet myself, because, I stayed in my marriage 10 years longer than I should have too, and give that person advice, I'd tell her to leave.
Mm-hmm.
That I know that I stayed 10 years because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. I felt like I should. Well, and, I just really, there are lots of reasons that I did, but if I could go back, I would tell her, your kids are going to be fine.
Yeah.
That your kids may actually be better if they're not around all the toxic relationship stuff. That if you could raise your children where they had that peace in the home with you for those 10 years, it might actually be better for you and for them. And I would tell myself that. So I'm not saying that I wouldn't go back and possibly do it differently.
Yeah.
I just don't necessarily regret the choice I made with the limited information I had. But if anybody asked me now, I would be like, yes, I would tell her to leave.
Well, I'm not saying that I regret the choice. I'm saying from my youth and energy standpoint, I feel like that my youth was wasted in those 10 years and my energy definitely was wasted because it wasn't the outcome that I thought all the energy would produce. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was a disappointment in that way.
You didn't have a return on your investment.
I did not have a return on my investment. I did not. Now, from the point of the romantic partner marriage, I did not have the return on my investment. But for my kids, I think definitely I had a return on my investment of those 10 years. For my kids and their education.
I agree.
And all that.
I would agree.
I definitely think that I had.
And I think we all stayed until we absolutely couldn't stay anymore. That's what I thought.
Oh yeah. I mean, part of my philosophy before divorce was, especially knowing that my husband was sick with the addiction and all, was I didn't want my children to look at me ever and say, why didn't you try XYZ? Why did you let this fail? Why didn't you try everything you possibly could? I wanted to be able to answer all of those possible questions with, I did this, and this. These are the things I did to try to save our marriage. These are the things I tried to do to save your dad. Like I did absolutely everything to try and make this work. And I didn't want, especially because of what I was looking at possibly happening, which did end up happening. I just didn't want them to ever feel like I had done anything to contribute to their father's illness and done everything that I could possibly do to try and help him recover and be the father that they needed and to be the man that he wanted to be.
Okay, I had that exact same thing.
I just think that I was working on so to me, not having that regret, knowing I did everything I could outweighed me feeling like I needed to go on leave at the time. Yeah. But I also feel like I could have now on the other end, I could have done a whole lot of supporting of him after divorce. Like just because because we divorced and I was still his main contact. I was still his emergency contact. I still was the one that took him to rehab and still the one who went and visited him in rehab and did all of those things. I was still that person. I could have been that person 10 years sooner. Mm-hmm. But it's all right. Hindsight. Yeah. So back to having fun.
Yes.
We got a little off topic.
We got a little, well, don't we always go?
Well, that's because we weren't doing that.
No, we weren't.
No. It wasn't fun.
No.
In the middle of it.
Right.
Really
no. And that's another reason why it's so important that we make sure we're making time even when we feel like we don't have the time.
Yeah.
We protect our time. protect our time for our creative endeavors that mean something to us, and we protect our time for the fun that feeds our soul with our people
and stuff you want to do.
Yes.
Well, I think you have to feed your soul and have fun, and that will feed into your artistic and creative.
Okay, and I have been exhausted
I think it makes
today.
you a better person when you have fun and you can recharge your batteries. You're a nicer person. Well, at least I am. Way nicer. I have better ideas. I feel more
creative. My created, like
Yeah.
I worked on some of my paintings today, and my creativity, even just singing and playing last night, it freed some space up.
And your stuff looks great.
Well, thank you. I'm working on it.
You're going to get an A in that class. You might get an A+, Bonnie. Oh, let's see.
All right. Well, what are y'all doing this week? I know what Beth is doing this week. So, Lauren, let's start with you. Beth, you get to go last.
Well, we have our second week of theater camp at the college this week. So,
and it's Cats Camp.
It's
isn't it?
Cats. We're doing Cats, the junior edition.
Fun.
So we've got that show on Saturday, and I've got rehearsals for Sweeney Todd, and that has really been artistically very fun for me so far. So I needed to kind of live in a.
Well, that's your favorite show.
Yeah, it's my second favorite show. It's the best musical ever written, but it's my second favorite show. West Side Story is my favorite. Sweeney Todd's the best musical. Just my opinion. Right, let me clear that up.
Your professional opinion.
So that has been really just a very good time. So I love that. And then I get my kiddo back this week. So lots of things to do. So it's work fun, but it's, what I do is fun usually. So,
well, I have the wedding preparations are ramping up. Get to really kind of make sure everything is together and kind of make sure my planning is done, which is fun. Had my second fitting for the mother of the groom dress.
How did that go?
This past week, it went well. Good. So, the shoes that I picked out will go. So, yay. Little things. So that's fun. And my daughter she's still here. I'm enjoying every moment with her because she'll be gone for the month of July, and then she'll come back for like 2 weeks and then be gone again to go back to school for the year. Exactly. So I know that my time with her is limited. And so anytime I can get with her, is always fun. So, all right, Beth, go.
Finally, the vacation that did not make last year is hopefully going to make this year. And I will be in Dublin and London and Paris and Norway.
Yay, I'm so
and
jealous.
then back. And I'm very excited.
You should be.
My daughter packed today. So all my stuff is kind of piled, but not actually packed yet. Because I want to do a last little glimmer. And I do have to work the first 2 days. Tomorrow's a big travel day. But once I get through that, I think
good.
It'll be cool. So I'm excited. Now, if I get stuck again, I will be madder than a wet hen. But, I'll live. But y'all will have to hear about it. So just be prepared.
Surely you'll be fine. Now, not the big strikes in the airlines this year.
I have last year. Never know. We didn't know it was happening last year. But anyway, we'll see.
All right.
Well, I'll clink with y'all.
Cheers.
It sounds a little different.
Bye. Thank y'all for joining us for Champagne Sunday.
See you next week.
Yeah, cheers.
Have a good week.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.